Tonight on CTV News, concern over property rights.
It's the uncertainty that causes you anxiety.
Richmond residents are warned that a court decision could affect their property rights.
And I can no longer stay silent and complicit while John Rustad runs this party into the ground.
Another fracture in the BC Conservative caucus, the latest MLA to quit. What's she saying about leader John Rustad?
That was our main concern for him, was we didn't want him running into the road or facing wild animals.
A rescue dog lost at YVR is rescued again, where Tommy was found 9 days after he escaped.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. There is growing concern tonight over private property rights in Richmond after dozens of owners received a letter from the mayor. It warned them their property rights may be in jeopardy because of a recent BC Supreme Court ruling. As CTV's Ben Milger reports, the case could drag on for years, leaving a cloud of uncertainty hanging over home and business owners.
When Angela Smith read the contents of a letter from Richmond Mayor Malcolm Brodie, it left her stunned.
It's the uncertainty that causes you anxiety.
Smith owns an investment property on a parcel of Richmond land at the center of a court dispute, which the mayor says puts private property rights in jeopardy.
This could be the start of people losing homes that they have paid for and acquired through legal devices, and that we're opening a door to complete pandemonium.
An August BC Supreme Court decision grants Aboriginal title over 7.5 kilometers of land to the Cowichan tribes. The First Nations have appealed because their original claim was for a larger parcel. Much of the riverfront land is held by the City of Richmond and the federal government, but it does also include neighborhoods filled with private homes and businesses.
The City Council and I felt that it was important that we get the word out to the various landowners as to the situation.
The City of Richmond, the province, and the Musqueam Indian Band are all appealing in opposition to the ruling.
We are arguing to defend those private property rights of those homeowners and for certainty to ensure that businesses can make the decisions to invest that they need to make. This will be a process as it goes through the courts.
The initial trial was the longest in Canadian history, spanning 11 years with 513 days of hearings. Appeals could take years to get to the Supreme Court of Canada. BC Conservative leader John Rustad says the ruling has province-wide implications and people shouldn't have to wait that long under a cloud of uncertainty.
We have called on the Premier as well as the federal government to put a reference question as soon as possible to the Supreme Court of Canada asking a simple question: does private property rights extinguish Indigenous title on the same piece of property?
No one from Cowichan tribes was available for comment. The City of Richmond will host a public information session at City Hall on October 28th for those seeking more information on the decision. Ben Milger, CTV News, Richmond.
More chaos in the BC Conservative Party. Another MLA has quit the caucus. She says it's not the party she has problems with, but leader John Rustad. Legislative Bureau Chief Rob Buffum has a story.
She's the latest and fifth BC Conservative MLA to leave the party since last October's election. Penticton-Summerland MLA Amelia Boltby quitting the caucus Monday.
Over the past weeks and months, I have witnessed, along with all British Columbians, the unraveling of John Rustad.
Boltby cited a membership scandal, MLA's phones being searched for leaks, and what she called intimidating behavior by Rustad in caucus meetings.
He has invited me to get the F out if I don't like it, and I've taken him up on that offer, and I suggest you do too.
Rustad wasting no time in responding, citing Boltby as a leak, raising concerns about her views on Hamas, and raising issues about her mental health.
We tried to work through the idea with her to actually just take a leave for a period of time to come out and decide what she wanted to do with her future.
Boltby's departure reminiscent of Eleanor Sturco's a few weeks ago when she was kicked out of caucus for alleged disloyalty.
I feel that he was attempting to use mental health as a way of disparaging Amelia, which I think, frankly, is disgusting.
Current BC Conservative Brennan Day, who declined to talk on camera, also bristled, tweeting, "To weaponize or trivialize someone's health condition, mental or otherwise, is harmful to those who already face stigma in silence." Already gone from the Conservatives, Dallas Brody, turfed months ago by Rustad, and joined shortly thereafter by Tara Armstrong and Jordan Keeley, who left.
I think that things are starting to catch up with John.
The turmoil just 1 year and a day after the Conservatives narrowly lost the election, Rustad on the cusp of being premier. Now the latest poll shows the NDP with a comfortable 7-point lead among decided voters.
John Rustad is struggling, but whoever replaces him, and he will be replaced sooner rather than later, I suspect, is going to face exactly the same challenges and may not be any better positioned.
Boltby is calling for her now former boss to resign, a position at least 5 former Conservatives now hold.
And Rob Buffum joins us live from Victoria. Rob, are any more defections from the Conservative caucus expected at this point?
Well, that is the big question, Mi Jung. We put that to John Rustad. He said that he did not think there would be. He seems to think that Amelia Boltby was the last remaining leak in caucus. I have heard, on the other hand, that Brennan Day is not the only member of his caucus who is very upset about their leader's use of language involving mental health in his discussion of Amelia Boltby today. So we'll have to wait and see. But it's pretty astounding to think that it was 1 year and 1 day ago that people were still sorting out whether or not the Conservatives might form government. Today, they're pretty much scrambling to keep things together. Mi Jung.
Thanks for this update, Rob. One person was taken to hospital after being rescued from the water in Lynn Canyon in North Vancouver. A helicopter and ground crew were called to the 90-foot pool area around 1 this afternoon, according to the District of North Vancouver firefighters. Mounties confirm one person was rescued and taken to hospital. It's unclear how they ended up in the water and what condition they're in. Lynn Canyon Suspension Bridge is closed for repair work, but the park remains open. Surrey police are investigating another targeted shooting in the city's Newton neighborhood. Officers were called to reports of shots fired near 81st Avenue and King George just before 1 a.m. on Sunday morning. A business was hit with gunfire after the suspect shot at the victims, who were in a vehicle in front of the building, but no injuries have been reported. Police say the motive for the shooting is still under investigation, but there are, quote, no established ties to previous extortion-related shootings in Surrey. A 24-year-old man has been charged in connection to a Coquitlam shooting in January of last year that left 1 man dead.
Mr. O'Hearn was known to police in the past due to extensive interactions for violence. And I can also say that police utilize a number of tools to assess individuals and their propensity for violence, and Mr. O'Hearn was ranked high on that list.
Police say they have arrested 24-year-old Tyrell O'Hearn, who has been charged with first-degree murder. The shooting happened near Westwood Street and Glen Drive on January 6, 2024. The victim was also known to police, but his name is not being released. O'Hearn remains in custody. Now to dramatic video of a man being thrown to the ground by an explosion that happened at an EV charging station in Hope. The vehicle owner suffered minor injuries while the Tesla was left with significant scorching. A report by the regulator Technical Safety BC into the August 2024 incident finds a short circuit occurred when the man was charging his Tesla at a fast charging station and the third-party uncertified adapter failed. In a statement, Technical Safety BC warns it's imperative to have certified equipment when charging electronic vehicles. In this case, according to the report, the adapter was not approved for use in Canada as it had no certification mark on it. The NDP government is making legislative changes to fast-track a multi-billion-dollar transmission line. It's part of a major effort to boost the province's power supply and add billions to BC's bottom line. CTV's Dimitra Maragos has the details.
An announcement poised to make an impact.
We need the electricity. We need to leverage the benefits that we have here in order to be able to realize the prosperity that we want.
This new legislation.
This law will mean we can move faster on the North Coast transmission line.
NCTL will mirror the existing line to double the electricity capacity and will be developed in 3 phases.
We need to ensure that we're accessing that clean, reliable, affordable power. The kind of power that will give us an edge in the global economy.
The province says the legislation is designed to meet the surging demand for power in traditional sectors.
Without these changes today, critical mining and LNG projects in the north simply won't move forward.
And emerging industries such as AI and data centers.
We intend to make it easier for companies to make that final decision by getting them access to clean, sustainable power at fair rates without billions of dollars in upfront costs that can stifle investment.
The province says once the NCTL is up and running, it's expected to add close to $10 billion to the GDP every year, generate about $1 billion in revenue to deliver services to people in the province and nationally, create on average 10,000 jobs, and they say it will assist in reducing greenhouse gas emissions by approximately 2 to 3 million tons of carbon dioxide per year. But some have concerns about how much this will cost in the meantime.
It's a $3 billion power line.
And says it can be done for a fraction of the cost.
That need can be met, again, with a resource, natural gas, that we already have in a 300 to 1,000 year supply in this province, and it can be done for a much, much lower cost and higher reliability.
Now, construction is expected to start in the summer of 2026. Dimitra Maragos, CTV News, Vancouver.
A humpback whale has been struck by a Hullo ferry vessel, which runs sailings between Vancouver and Nanaimo. The Federal Department of Fisheries and Oceans Canada says the collision happened in English Bay on Friday, the DFO adding that the whale was seen swimming north after contact. The animal's condition remains unclear. Hullo notified the agency of the incident and is cooperating with the investigation. A years-long fight over a proposed condo development in Chinatown played out at City Hall today, with more than 100 residents speaking out against the project. Community members from Chinatown and the downtown east side gathered to oppose BD Living's proposed development at 570 Columbia Street. The 9-story condo project was approved in principle by the city's Development Permit Board in June 2023, with the final review of the revised design set for today. Critics argue the project will speed up gentrification in a neighborhood desperate for affordable housing.
What we want is really not complicated. A Chinatown where seniors can age in place, where low-income renters can stay rooted, where people are safe, and where culture is lived, not commodified. To BD, you cannot buy your way into community, culture, and heritage.
Despite the outcry, BD Living says the project aligns with the city's plans to revitalize Chinatown. The developer has committed to working with community groups and city staff to move forward. It's 6:12. You're looking at a live shot of Robson Street, and what a difference a few days has made. It's suddenly dark at 6. Wow.
Yeah, sun has set, and we're seeing some light sprinkles out there, and that's what we'll continue to see as we head through this evening and through the overnight hours. So here is a look at temperatures across the lower mainland. Right now, we are seeing temperatures around the 11-degree mark at the Harbour and in Burnaby and in North Vancouver, as well as in Surrey, Abbotsford, and Chilliwack. Cooler in Pitt Meadows at 10, warmer in White Rock at 12, and as we head through the overnight, we will see a few showers. A mild 9 degrees into tomorrow, slight chance of early morning showers, but then it clears up quite nicely. We'll see a high of 13 degrees.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next trip by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
soak up tomorrow's sunshine because it is one and done. We've got rain in the forecast. Those details coming up.
Yeah, and now the trees with the red leaves are really popping.
Absolutely gorgeous.
So enjoy that tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, before they all fall down.
All right, thanks, Ed. Well, there is concern Vancouver won't have enough hotel rooms and short-term rentals for World Cup visitors next June and July. But it's not only tournament staff and tourists who will need places to stay. CTV's Shannon Patterson now on how the accommodation squeeze could impact patients traveling to the city for health care.
This Holiday Inn near Vancouver General Hospital is a lifeline for out-of-town patients and their caregivers who need somewhere affordable to stay during treatment.
They have 197 rooms, and they're utilizing them almost strictly for patients. Like that is their top market.
But during the World Cup, hotel rooms and short-term rentals will be very hard to find and financially out of reach for most out-of-town patients.
They don't have a choice. Next summer, it's not like they're going to want to be in Vancouver during FIFA. They're going to be there because they need to be. And if they make that choice to, to try and access care, how are they going to do it? Like, are we really expecting patients to spend $2,000 a night just so they can access medical care?
The founder of Housing is Healthcare is urging the province to reach out to hotels like the Holiday Inn near VGH to secure a block of rooms for out-of-town patients during the World Cup period.
We need the province to step up. We need them to say, we will pay market rates so that we can secure housing for our patients. And these are, perhaps these are the partners that we're going to partner with and actually provide space. And you can rely on XYZ next summer if you need care.
The health minister says it is on her radar.
Knowing that this is coming, the planning is underway, and knowing that people can come down to get their procedures, or maybe their family members who are there to visit their families who are undergoing medical care. So this is part of the planning process.
I know they're interested, and I know the Premier's interested, and I know this is something we all want, but we do need to act fast in this particular case.
If accommodation isn't secured and subsidized by the province, there's concern some out-of-town patients will be forced to forego treatment next June and July.
Unfortunately, I don't see any way around it. I imagine that, in fact, we'll probably see things like advanced healthcare services possibly curtailed even during the sort of FIFA window.
While medical needs won't stop for a month-long party, for out-of-town patients who can't find somewhere to stay, treatment might. Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Vancouver.
The provincial government says it's introducing a bill that's aimed at helping protect workers dealing with long-term illnesses in BC.
It's hard to imagine anything more challenging or awful than facing a diagnosis of a major and catastrophic health issue like this. But knowing that your job will be there when you're completing treatment, when you're able to return to employment, is just one less thing for people to have to worry about.
The new bill proposed by the province would allow for up to 27 weeks of unpaid leave for workers who are dealing with major illnesses and are unable to work. The province says this new bill would protect residents diagnosed with cancer, multiple sclerosis, and victims of intimate partner violence. If passed, the new bill would go into effect later this fall. The federal government is making a major investment in an effort to help against Canada's toxic drug crisis.
This work is about saving lives. We need to depoliticize it and use every single tool at our disposal to help people in need.
Ottawa announced it's investing $30 million from the Emergency Treatment Fund for 34 projects and an additional $10 million for 6 projects under the Substance Abuse and Addictions Program. The Emergency Treatment Fund is used to help municipalities and Indigenous communities in the fight against toxic drugs and overdose. More pistachio products are being recalled in Vancouver due to possible salmonella contamination. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says there have been no reported illnesses connected to these products. Premier Nuts Enterprise, Aria Market, and Lena Market, all in Vancouver, have been asked to recall the identified products, which were sold between August 28th and October 11th. The agency says food contaminated with salmonella may not look or smell spoiled, but can still make people sick. Anyone who may have gotten ill should contact their healthcare provider. Going to some of Vancouver's most popular community centres could cost you more. The cash-strapped Park Board is considering scrapping free parking at numerous key locations. How much it would cost That's coming up, also ahead.
He was being seen, but every time he would be seen, he would move areas, so that's what made it tricky.
Lost, then found. A rescue dog that bolted at the airport has been tracked down where he was found 9 days after he escaped. When CTV News continues, stay with us. It's an amazing story of survival. A dog that was missing for 9 days appears to have beaten the odds. For more than a week, he's been spotted all around Vancouver International Airport, but somehow evaded his rescuers and the area's many dangers, including coyotes. CTV's Sinjin Alexander now on the second rescue of his life.
Tommy is at times spooked, but he's a smart pup. And when the 8-month-old landed in Vancouver after a long flight from South Korea, he somehow broke free and took off.
That's good.
Enter Parker and Julia from Pet Searchers Canada, the crack team behind Operation Find Tommy.
He's a Corgi Jindo mix, and yeah, he's about 20 pounds, so he's a tiny boy.
The dangers can't be understated. People, planes, cars, and coyotes. Remember, he's a puppy, so his picture was posted everywhere. Everyone on the lookout.
He had a little harness on, a little scarf he was lost with, and so he was adorable.
The hours grew longer, days passed, and he was being spotted at UPS, by airport officials, fuel engineers, but Tommy would always run.
Yeah, he was being seen, but every time he would be seen, he would move areas, so that's what made it tricky.
Bit by bit, pet searchers seemed to figure out his favorite spots, set up more trail cameras, and traps with freshly cooked chicken. Now here's Tommy taking the bait, but he wasn't about to be caught.
He came by, actually went halfway in my trap, backed out, and then he left and disappeared.
So he was smart.
Yeah, he was smart.
More traps, more sightings, more chicken, but no puppy, and it's now been more than a week.
For 9 days, we're still hopeful, but are getting more and more concerned.
That's when the team changed the menu. Hot dogs would be served too. That night, ever so cautiously, Tommy was back and feasted.
Hi, Tommy.
He was cold and shaking.
Hi, buddy.
But they finally found Tommy right across the street from the airport runway.
You're safe, buddy.
The puppy was taken indoors where he couldn't get away, and the moment they opened the cage, he curled up with Julia and Parker.
We just want him happy and safe, and yeah, and he's such a sweet boy that we're really happy with the outcome.
We bet he is too, now living the life, probably eating more hot dogs in Whistler. Sinjin Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
Free parking could be on the way out at some of Vancouver's most popular community facilities. The Park Board is voting tonight on a pilot project that would introduce fees at several sites. The report recommends a year-long test of paid parking at Hillcrest, Kerrisdale, and Trout Lake community centers at $3.50 an hour and $4.25 an hour at Langara Golf Course. Van Dusen Botanical Garden would see a $25 event rate during the Festival of Lights starting in November 2026. The Park Board says the plan could generate $1.5 million in revenue and help manage parking demand while encouraging transit use.
I'm not in favor of this proposal. I think each recreation center or facility has to be looked at individually. So my concern is if we introduce this, we're creating more barriers to seniors, families.
The proposal is a scaled-back version of one introduced earlier this year that included more locations and a higher revenue target. The board will decide tonight whether to move ahead with the pilot, which could roll out in stages over the next year. Albertans are in the final stretch of their municipal election tonight, with polls set to close in under an hour. Voters across 19 cities, 105 towns, and dozens of villages and districts are choosing their next mayors and councillors. Key races are unfolding in Calgary and Edmonton, where political parties are appearing on ballots for the first time. Last fall, the Alberta government banned the use of electronic vote tabulators, meaning results could take days to finalize. A group petitioning to keep Alberta in Canada believes it has reached its signature goal 8 days before deadline. The Forever Canadian campaign needs 291,000 signatures. The group's leader believes more than 300,000 signatures have been gathered, but he says they want to get as many as possible as insurance. An internet outage affected thousands of companies. A warning about the dangers of relying on a small number of cloud computing companies. And a plane in Hong Kong crashed into the sea, killing 2 airport workers. The story next on CTV News at 6. Some terrifying moments for Air China passengers when a fire broke out mid-flight. The airline says the fire was started by a lithium-ion battery while the plane was at an altitude of more than 9,100 meters. Flight crews rushed to respond, and the aircraft was forced to make an emergency landing in Shanghai. In Hong Kong, 2 airport workers are dead after a cargo plane veered off a runway and into the sea.
Unfortunately, an airport security patrol car was there at that time. The aircraft collided with the patrol car and pushed the car into the sea.
Airport officials say it happened around 4 a.m. local time as the plane was coming in for a landing. The jet had taxied about halfway down the runway before it skidded off the runway. The 4 crew members on the cargo jet had no apparent injuries. Rescuers dived into the sea and found the 2 security officers. One was pronounced dead at the scene. The second died in hospital. From social media to banking, thousands of websites and apps were knocked offline today, all because of a major outage at Amazon Web Services. CTV's John Venevalley-Rao explains how one glitch in the cloud sent shockwaves across the internet.
For users of some web services, this was the message they got this morning. Unable to connect to popular sites like language learning platform Duolingo and social media giant Snapchat. An outage that the site Down Detector says affected more than 2,000 companies.
I had a bunch of interviews lined up this morning using Zoom, and I couldn't use Zoom while this outage was in the midst, so I had to flip to a plan B.
Some Delta and United Airlines passengers in the U.S. reported problems accessing their online reservations, while in the U.K. there were bank customers who couldn't log into their accounts. The issues all stemming from a problem with Amazon Web Services.
At AWS,
which is the world's largest provider of cloud computing services, which many businesses and governments rely on.
Because these individual companies are so large and have such a big share of the market, it does have this cascading impact where one system goes down, then another, and then suddenly half the internet is gone.
The outage was first reported at around 3 this morning Eastern Time. A few hours later, Amazon said it had narrowed down the source of the problem, though connection issues persisted. An outage that also affected Amazon's own service, along with Disney, McDonald's, and others. Since 2020, there's been several large internet disruptions. Experts say part of the problem is a growing dependence on a small number of global cloud services and shows how fragile the backbone of the internet can be.
This is a clear sign that having a cloud infrastructure that is so monopolistic is problematic.
Meanwhile, experts say this appears to have been the result of a fault at a data center and nothing to suggest it was a cyber attack. John Venevalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
In an effort to help protect Canadians against online scammers, Ottawa says next month's budget will include plans for a new financial crimes unit.
We're talking to the FBI. We're going to talk to the financial crime unit in the UK. But, you know, my aim is to go after organized crime, is to go after those who scam and defraud Canadians.
The new anti-fraud strategy will focus on scams targeting Canadians, but will also collaborate with other countries on international crime. Ottawa will also amend the Bank Act, requiring express consent with account holders before enabling services such as e-transfer. Banks will also be required to have policies and procedures in place to detect consumer fraud. Like a scene out of a movie, a dramatic theft from the Louvre. How criminals posed as construction workers. Also ahead.
This is going to take the long haul. Yes. Worth it? Absolutely. Every penny.
Heritage Hall. What it takes to barge a 1912 Kerrisdale home to its new location across the water. The owner's passion project ahead.
Your
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Vancouver, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Dozens of volunteers spent the weekend helping set up for the annual Lights of Hope event at St. Paul's Hospital.
What warms my heart is that I know that patients who are inside the hospital feel the energy and the love from the community that will help them to heal better.
Volunteers set up thousands of lights and more than 200 giant twinkling stars. This is the 28th year of Lights of Hope at St. Paul's, and it has raised $57 million to support patients in that time. This year, organizers are hoping to raise $3.7 million. This year's lighting celebration will take place on November 27th and will run into the new year. November 27th, I always love seeing those lights switch on. November 27th is usually when you're about ready for Christmas, isn't it, Anne?
Mine's usually November 2nd or 3rd, but yeah,
Sorry.
some people wait until the 27th, which is totally fine. I like the lights because they're just so beautiful.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
All right, can't wait. We'll definitely put that in the calendar for the lights at St. Paul's. All right, for us, so we're seeing pretty much overcast skies out there right now. We are seeing some light sprinkles as well. Today we saw a high of 12.4 degrees, slightly below the seasonal average. Overnight low was 6, a degree below the seasonal average. And with the weekend's rainfall, we've seen 54.9 millimeters of rain, still below the monthly average of 123.7 millimeters. And we still have a couple of weeks to go. So right now we are dealing with this frontal system, bringing in unsettled conditions for the south coast. We will see a line of showers through the overnight. As you can see on our weather tracker, a few showers here and there into early tomorrow morning, scattered showers, but then, so we'll see mostly cloudy skies, but then in the afternoon, it clears up quite nicely. Lots of sunshine in store right through until tomorrow night. You'll see blue skies and sunshine as well for the southern interior, your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Mix of sun and cloud for Port Hardy tomorrow with a high of 12 degrees. Unsettled for Campbell River and Comox, mostly cloudy skies with a few scattered showers and a high of 12. Mostly sunny skies for Tofino, 13 degrees. A mix of sun and cloud from Port Alberni right down to Victoria. Temperatures between 13 and 14 degrees. Cloudy with showers for the Sunshine Coast with a high of 12. Early morning showers for Squamish. Clears up nicely, 13 degrees. A mix of sun and cloud for Whistler and 12. And for us across the lower mainland, a slight chance of early morning showers clearing up through the afternoon. Temperatures between 14 and 15 degrees. It'll stay dry on a Wednesday morning. Showers return in the afternoon, continuing to Thursday. Wet and windy on Friday, 13 degrees. And then it cools down on Saturday and Sunday, 10 degrees, periods of rain, scattered showers on Sunday, and then cooler yet on Monday, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 9. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So as I said before, you get outside and enjoy the sunshine tomorrow afternoon.
But as you mentioned, we're quite well below the average rainfall for the month.
We still have 11 days to go, so I think we might make up for that.
Yeah, well, early start to October was very nice, though. All right, thanks, Anne. A Vancouver heritage home that was saved from demolition more than a decade ago has finally been moved to a new lot across the water in West Vancouver. CTV's Shannon Patterson now on the monumental effort to relocate the house and why the owner says it's all worth it.
When this 113-year-old heritage home was barged into Caulfield Cove in West Vancouver Sunday, the woman who saved it from being torn down over a decade ago was overcome with emotion.
I am over the moon, elated. I've never had a better day in my life.
11 years ago, Susan Walker bought the 1912 arts and crafts period home that was slated for demolition at 43rd and Larch in Vancouver.
It's extraordinary from the outside because there are actual beams which are made of real logs, but inside it's rather miraculous. It's totally intact. There's its original dark wood paneling. There's pressed steel radiators which were totally innovative for the time. There's these crazy plywood bird and fish light fixtures. There's a built-in clock.
After Walker's plans to relocate the home within Vancouver fell through, she turned to West Vancouver.
They're very welcoming of heritage, so for the past 5 years, I've been working directly with him.
On Sunday, it was finally time to barge the house, now cut into multiple pieces, from a holding facility in Vancouver down the Fraser River and across Burrard Inlet to the lot in Caulfield Cove.
They'll draw the house backwards by truck up the lot, and an excavator will help pull from the other side up the lot.
It will be suspended in the air while a foundation is built before the home can be lowered onto its final resting place. Then the restoration will begin.
And because I'm an architectural and heritage purist, everything will be restored back to 1912. So original cabinetry, original sinks, tubs, showers, original fridges, original stoves, everything will be of that period.
I have to ask you what the cost is.
I can't. You know, I've actually never done the math. I don't want to do the math because it's not done for the cost. It's done for the love of this particular house and the passion for heritage.
After 11 years of waiting, Walker is eager to move into the home, no matter how long this next phase takes.
You're in for the long haul. This is going to take the long haul, yes.
Worth it?
Absolutely, every penny.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News, West Vancouver.
The trade war is partly to blame for hundreds of layoffs in the Canadian beer industry. Also ahead.
The workers were working on the museum on a Sunday in Paris. Nobody works on Sunday in Paris at 9 a.m.
Criminals posing as construction workers took just minutes to grab priceless jewels. Questions about security at the world's top museum. That's ahead. Today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 71 cents to the American dollar. Oil was up 16 cents, closing the day at $57.15 U.S. a barrel. Gold lost more than $91 on the day. The TSX ended the day lower, down 350 points. The Dow Jones closed the day higher, up 238 points. Beer maker Molson Coors announced hundreds of layoffs today. The company confirms 400 jobs, or about 9% of its salaried workforce, will be lost by year-end. That will include workers across Canada, the United States, and Latin America. The company says the move is part of a corporate restructuring plan. Molson Coors had already forecast a drop in profit, in part because of aluminum tariffs, raising the cost of beer cans. Police in France are investigating a brazen robbery at one of the world's most iconic museums. Several people disguised as construction workers broke into the Louvre in Paris using a crane to smash an upstairs window. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the latest.
It took all of 7 minutes on a Sunday morning in Paris, according to investigators who are now on a complex manhunt for 4 robbers and the irreplaceable jewels they stole from the Louvre. Officials say 4 men disguised as construction workers drove up to the side of the museum in a truck mounted with a long ladder, extending that ladder to a second-story balcony where they allegedly used power tools to break in.
The only clue that they left was that should have raised a red flag was that the workers were working on the museum on a Sunday in Paris. Nobody works on Sunday in Paris at 9 a.m.
Police say the men ransacked the Apollo Gallery, getting away on scooters with 8 pieces of jewelry, including this elaborate diamond brooch the Louvre bought in 2008 for just under 7 million euros. Today, ABC's James Longman spoke with France's Minister of Culture, who is in charge of the Louvre and leading the investigation. She says all of the evidence so far points to organized crime and did not rule out this could be an inside job. French officials say among what they've submitted for DNA analysis is a vest and a bottle of liquid the robbers allegedly used to try and set the truck on fire before they took off. A new report from France's main auditors examines a 5-year period ending last year and finds the Louvre struggled to implement planned security upgrades, which is set to include additional security cameras. The report notes swaths of rooms at the Louvre have no cameras at all. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Move over gingerbread men. One bakery just whipped up a giant Labubu made entirely out of bread, plus teacher tribute. Adam finds out how an inspiring teacher left a meaningful mark on her student. Coming up on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Right now, here's a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
The debate continues over how to handle homeless camps. Tuesday on Your Morning Vancouver, where Canadians are landing on the use of emergency powers to clean up encampments. Plus, he's known for his broadcasting skills, but he's also an author. We catch up with James Duthie to chat about his new book, Certified Beauties, and how to have a sustainable Halloween. Some tips for putting a costume together using thrift store finds. We'll see you in the morning.
With a little more than 3 weeks before Remembrance Day, the Royal Canadian Legion presented the ceremonial first poppy to the Governor-General today in Ottawa.
To all the veterans, to all members of Canada and the United Nations peacekeeping forces, to all serving members of Canada's military forces, we thank you. It is with reverence and gratitude that I accept the first poppy.
The traditional event represents the start to the Remembrance period and upcoming National Poppy Campaign. It begins annually on the last Friday in October, and this year poppies will be available beginning October 31st. The Legion says donations are distributed locally to support veterans and their families and to promote remembrance. Already that time of year, we're going to be wearing poppies soon. Okay, if you have kids or follow trends online, you may know about the viral toy Labubu. Now, a California bakery has taken the craze to a whole new level.
The kids are like, is it edible? Can I eat it? And I'm like, you probably could, but it wouldn't taste very good.
Meet Van, the 7-foot-tall Labubu sculpture that weighs around 300 pounds. Impressive. It's made completely out of bread. Yum. The bakery plans to keep the display through Halloween. Wow, that looks amazing.
Delicious.
Just need a big bowl of chicken soup and you're good to go.
Anything.
I don't think it would taste good. Okay, we're going to get to the Sawatsky sign-off in just a minute, but first, Kevin's got a preview of CTV News at 11:30.
Yeah, Mi Jung, the chair of the Vancouver Park Board, is sounding the alarm over what she's calling unprecedented cuts following Mayor Ken Sim's plan to freeze property tax increases next year. City staff are working to cut $120 million from the budget, and CTV News has learned the Park Board is expected to slash $15 million from operations. What does this mean for community centers, pools, parks, ice rinks, some of which are in dire need of repairs and upgrades? Also, what does this mean for staff? We'll have that story coming up at 11:30. And also, Park Board is set to vote on paid parking at some rec centers and a city-owned golf course and Van Dusen Gardens. That happening very soon. We'll have the latest on that at 11:30 as well.
Yeah, I imagine there might be a few people wanting to speak on that topic.
I bet.
Pretty controversial. All right, thanks, Kevin. A meaningful bond between a drama teacher and her student here in Vancouver led to a heartfelt surprise that neither of them will ever forget. Adam explains how their connection led to a lasting tribute on tonight's Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
While the school hallways were empty of students, Allison Calder was full of questions about her teaching career.
Question if I was even having impact. Am I making a difference?
At the same time, her new student, Selena Dixon, was seriously struggling with her mental health.
Huge trauma upon trauma upon trauma.
Until, in Allison's drama class, Sienna's darkest days started filling with light.
The first person who I felt saw me, noticed me, cared for me.
Unconditional acceptance, which over 5 years in class together led to huge healing.
It was life-changing, and I don't use that word lightly.
Just like Allison never used this phrase lightly.
So every time she would share something, I would say, girl, I'm with you always. You are never alone.
An enduring message that inspired Sienna to commission this permanent tribute to her teacher, which she revealed to Allison on her graduation day. And after too many moments of questioning her value, her impact, her purpose,
I'm gonna cry. I'm not okay. A really small thank you for everything that you did for me.
for Allison, this answer in ink couldn't have been more affirming.
I just knew in that moment I'm exactly where I need to be.
Where Sienna was inspired to be even more than she ever imagined she could be.
I don't think I'd be able to see life colorfully is the way that I describe it if I hadn't been there.
Where this connection beyond the curriculum, Allison hopes, will inspire.
Takes my connection with her and she goes on and connects with someone else. When we can keep that impact domino going, magic.
Adam Swatsky, CTV News.
Oh, what a powerful testimony to how teachers can have such an impact on young lives.
Yeah, they sure do.
Beautiful.
All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. A beautiful photo from Horseshoe Bay. Thanks, Bob, for sending this one in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well, so email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
We're going to see a little more gray in the next little while.
So enjoy tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Ann. Thanks for joining us. Kevin will be back at 11:30.